Welcome, everyone. My name is Steve Stein, and I'm the host of the Surfing the Tsunami of Change Summit series. And we're excited to have an esteemed guest and speaker speaking on our summit about tech life balance and the wisdom traditions. So, without further ado, I want to welcome Daaji, and who is the it's so nice to have you here. And also, I might say he's the author of his most recent book, Spiritual Anatomy, and uh, you know, spokesperson, leader in the whole heartfulness phenomenon that is really tremendous. So, welcome, Daji.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for connecting us to this techno life balancing act. It's going to be a challenge going forward. Life has always been a challenge. It is challenging now and it will remain challenging in the future. It continues and we struggle to find some sort of a balance as we sail on to the future. Many people, Steve, they're averse, unfortunately, and there are many who are soaked completely in technology. There are, I think, more and more polarities. People who are keeping up with technology, and people like me who are also appreciative of technology but cannot move as fast. You see, technology is changing so rapidly. It is today you have something, tomorrow the same thing is completely changed, and you are baffling, and you have to keep up with it at all the time. And for an ordinary person on a globe, I don't think we can keep up with it. So it is creating polarity, techno savvy versus techno ignorant individuals. And that is going to be another problem, just as we have polarity because of highly spiritual and not so spiritual, highly materialistic and so much of poverty, and so much of affluence and so much of misery. Or we are used to this polarity, and now we have one more level of polarity: high, highly technical or highly technological, and some with zero, and some can't even reach that level of understanding of technology. Anyway, without technology, we would not be at least communicating the way we are communicating today. You remember, I still very confused about how we're going to sail through all these things, because one part of the world, it's so much shining with technology, another is in absolute darkness. Uh, but fortunately, in some countries, they have taken initiative to move on, dropping behind the darkness of the past and moving on into embracing technology. And like anything else, it has its own plus and it has its own disadvantages. Like milk, if you take too much milk, it can give you diarrhea also. And we can't blame the milk for that. Similarly, ibuprofen, it's a great medicine to remove pain and any kind of inflammation that you may have in the body, but it can also give you ulcer if you don't take it wisely. So same thing with technology. People point out how bad it can be, how badly it can hijack your mind. Um, for example, children watching, playing video games. This is also a technology. And when children are immersed with video, they lose their sense of surrounding. And it's for that moment, they don't think anything else. That their brain gets hijacked, their mind is absolutely hijacked. And when you remain in such a focused state for a long time, I think your mind also changes, and morphologically, physiologically, neurologically, also your brain will be altered. And there are benefits as well as not so many benefits actually. Hijacking of a brain is a serious issue. I I see around, whenever I'm with my children and they want to see, Peppa Pig or some cartoons or some rhymes, they demand. And when we start it and when I stop it, especially when I try to stop it, they don't want it to be stopped. When I ask them a question in the middle of while they are listening to that song, they don't pay attention at all. They're totally closed. They are absorbed. Their brain, their mind, their heart, everything is in tune with the TV.
And out of tune with their presence. Like you could be
Correct.
snapping your finger, right. And because I have a teenager and one who's just turned 20, but I just, I've gone through with this. And exactly as you said, like during the pandemic, everyone was stuck in their house and using too much technology. But the technology also enabled my kids to play with their friends. Even though they weren't in person, they did have a sense of community. So I like the way you said it. It is a balancing act. It's a tech life balancing act, and there's not a lot of margin. I mean, it's constant because it's pervasive. It's always
It's always,
coming.
in the East especially, you must have observed how people take their lives to an extreme. Some people will leave the families, like becoming priests, monks, sannyasis, ascetics, and abandon the society and go into some seclusion. Very common, especially few decades back. And now also people lose interest in life because of certain failures in life, and they try to embrace spiritual life as if the spiritual life is going to solve all their life's problems. But it's far from the truth. I at Heartfulness advocate that there is no point in accepting one at the cost of other. For example, I cannot go into spirituality so much that my material life, my ordinary life suffers, my family life suffers. It should not be at the cost. At the same time, my normal ordinary life should not take me away from the spiritual life. So I generally say that let's integrate both. Let's spiritualize our ordinary life. Like when I was practicing as a pharmacist and my drugstore was known, it was established in 1898 by Dr. Katz and his son Michael Katz. He sold it to us. So very old pharmacy, oldest perhaps in New York City.
And where was that?
It was on Graham Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. It's
Got it.
Williamsburg section.
Okay.
Yeah. And most of my customers were also from a Jewish background and also Spanish background, and some African Americans were also there. So I had a mixed population in that area, and it was such a unifying thing. To me, filling prescription was not a business. I took that as an opportunity of serving them with a little bit of spiritual touch, little bit of compassion, everything that goes along. It's just a matter of attitude. Like you can accept a prescription with your hand and give out the medicine after you have filled the prescription. But your attitude, that changes everything. It's not just making money. It comes whether you have that compassionate attitude or not. Money is there, it's going to be there. But having that loving, kind attitude, you go into conversation and you tell a patient, next time when you are sick and you cannot walk to the pharmacy, call us. We'll pick your prescription up, we'll drop your prescription at no extra charge. And it's not just business, it's just a service. And hiring one person to deliver within that limited area, Williamsburg, was not a big deal. You see, and we enjoyed it, and I still miss filling prescriptions. Yeah, so it's up to us whether you're a teacher or a businessman or you're working for someone. It's your attitude. If you have the passion that you are serving someone with a lot of love, lot
So,
of compassion, then you will enjoy that work. Otherwise, it becomes burden to you.
so I could say, I could see how attitude and compassion and self-compassion um, can be important not only for our kids that are kind of addicted to devices, but to have an attitude that um, when using technology or when communicating with someone, to have the attitude of service, to have the attitude of heartfulness. Now, can that be applied while you're like you said before perfectly? So we're on a Zoom, you're 13 time zones away, and we're having a lovely conversation. And even 5 years ago, you could only do this on CNN, or now we can do this in the comfort of our own home.
Correct.
So how do we, try to inject heartfulness or a positive or the correct attitude in our communications?
Well, first is one has to center oneself, focus down and go as much deep within yourself as possible. Just centering is very important. Second thing, I have the receptive attitude within that makes you listen, that helps you to listen. Often what happens that you want to talk and try to impress others. But that is offensive. I like to listen very purposefully by centering myself. That helps me understand the other person better. And also, I can have a heartfelt dialogue from my side. So, centering is important and listening with compassionate heart completely without thinking of what should I be answering. Just be receptive, that's one. And that receptive state becomes possible when we regularly meditate. See? Aggression will never help us. Aggression always this creates discord amongst us. Recently I have 4 grandchildren. I have 2 sons. Each son has 2 grandchildren. I mean, their own 2 kids. Both of them have a different approach of raising the children. Okay. When I'm watching, TV or working on a computer, all of a sudden they'll gang up on me and say, grandpa, I'd like to see this. Okay, I make them sit. Suddenly, one parent would come and say, "Oh, let me take away my let me take away this child. He should watch only for 10 minutes." I say, "Okay, I have no fuss." So the child goes. The other children remains with me watching it. When I give them the freedom that let's go and watch TV, often they say no. But the one who has been disciplined very aggressively, that don't do it more than 10 minutes, that child always craves. He seeks every opportunity to watch. Something that is denied, you always pursue. So I like to see that this technology should not be discouraged. If child is watching video game, it's great. Tell them, okay, let's develop better games. Right? They are interested in it. If you go against it, they will stop listening to you. Be one with them and slowly divert their attention towards research, towards gaming research, towards creating new games. Make it make the games more educational, more engaging toward scientific research, philosophical researches, and many things can be done. But if you go on saying this is not good for you, this is not good for you, it's going to hijack your mind, I think I do feel that it will work against. They're not going to listen to you anyway. Might as well divert their attention towards creativity through the video games.
Nice, nice. And I saw in your book a reference to kind of being alone, like you can, and it was somehow when I was reading through it, the idea of loneliness, it really connected with the um, with the idea that even though we're connected by internet or phone, there's not, you want to meet in real life, but it can become loneliness. So, even though you're
Yes.
connected on a surface, and I love what you said earlier about getting centered and so how do you approach that loneliness and holistically kind of making, because it's reality. Because if you don't, if
Yes.
we're not doing this Zoom call if there was no Zoom. This is accessible. So it's like, how do you make the best of it and not only minimize the negative, but maybe inject, heartfulness or positivity into it?
Well, personal presence being substituted, there is always a sacrifice of personal touch. I was reading an editorial, New York Times editorial on digital dating, AI dating, right? Where your chosen or your most liked person pops up in front of you and does whatever you like and acts and things like that. And that person in front of you could be, whatever you imagine, given the parameters of your choice, it will be created. So what really happens that you are substituting the person for images, right? And there goes your girlfriend, real person, or there goes your, real parents. You are constantly finding substitute that will not challenge you. Family life, personal friendship, sometimes we argue. And immature people will take these arguments very seriously. And they say, oh, if Mr. Stein argues with someone and they label you as argumentative, you see, technologically created AI is not going to argue with you because you have created it in your own image. What you like, what you dislike, and it's not going to displease you. So people are getting hooked onto these AI-related substances or scenes or creativity. But it's not creativity. Freedom to me is freedom to do what is right. I have a gun, for example, and I can shoot. I have freedom. But should I? Right? So freedom is there, but freedom should not be abused or should not be misunderstood as you can do whatever. I can date whosoever I want. No. Follow the natural rhythm. You
Make
have the freedom, but follow your heart and do whatever you like. Follow your heart. Don't be impulsive. Don't be guided by the temporary sensual attractions. Be mature about your selection. And same thing applies to the book I read, the songs I listen, the clothes I wear, friendship I have, should be governed by your own heart. And when you are centering yourself, your heart can guide you what is right, what is wrong, what is profitable, what is not so profitable, what is causing it, and what is the effect. Should I do it or should I avoid it? whom should I marry, for example, or should I work for this company, or should I go in business? I think many critical questions we struggle with, the heart can guide us better than anything else can.
Let the heart guide. I like that. I like that. You know, Sherry Turkle, who we've had uh, on a podcast with John Kabat-Zinn, and we'll be doing another session with the two of them. Her current research is on artificial intimacy. So uh, there's a couple of apps. I'm not sure of the specifics, but I believe that it was in line with what you were talking about, where more than 1 million people around the world, they have an app and they design their ideal person. And they know everything about them and they ask questions. How was your day? And artificial intimacy, you know, I guess for some people, if that's what they can do, or if if they have physical issues or, but it's artificial intimacy. But I guess my question is, can you have that relationship with technology and and still inject your heartfulness with it?
No, technology is the worst substitute for person to person intimate contacts. It's too artificial.
Mhm.
Even if you play around with a tree, for example, and you nurture a tree, it is a lot better than playing with technology, because you're able to see how a little seed is sprouting and growing and flowering and giving you fruits. You're able to see the wonder of it. And when you are interacting with individuals, imagine, for example, you and your father and mother, if they are around, you are meditating as a child with your parents. At such being with parents is such a beautiful thing. But imagine you are seated in your mother's lap, she is meditating, your father is meditating, and you are meditating with closed eyes and centering yourself. Isn't it beautiful? Now, after you grow up and your father is somewhere and you are somewhere else, and still at a chosen time, you can connect with each other and meditate together, though there's a difference in, distance. So I prefer that families, friend circles, communities, they can meditate together and create very peaceful vibrations around them and create a new level of consciousness. The consciousness created by meditation versus the consciousness created by drugs. I mean, drugs like antidepressants, anti-anxiety, things of that nature, that they are substitutes. I think they help a lot of people, no doubt, when they are. But meditation, by and large, to me, is very preventive in nature. It doesn't let you go into anxiety. It doesn't make you go into depressions. So, because it increases your state of awareness, you become more alert. And mindfulness also says very boldly that it is true that becoming alert, becoming aware, is a key thing for human beings. Heartfulness is not only becoming aware, becoming alert, but how you become kind, compassionate.
Mhm.
Heartfelt love can be, you know, it oozes out simply even without trying. You radiate that field of energy without your efforts, because you will radiate what you have. You cannot radiate anything else that you don't have. When you meditate and you are centered, people around you will say, oh, he's good, he's cool. I can relate with this person. And that's how harmony begins. Differences are welcome, and matured individuals who are centered will never deny any arguments. They say, welcome, I like that opinion. And that's how we enrich our each other's knowledge. So the meditator and non-meditators, they have a different way of life. And if you see the outcome in their life, it will be totally different. One at the end of life when he's breathing last, one who is meditating in an authentic way, and one who is not meditating. And when they reflect back on their life and their achievements, it'll be something worthwhile to note. I think we should do some study on that. The last days as a hospice patient, if you are a meditator versus non-meditator, and see the fulfillment in each one's lives. Because we do believe that however sick you may be, but if you are centered within yourself, you are at peace, even though you may be breathing your last.
Yes, centered, being at peace. These are the themes that are coming up over our conversation,
Yes,
and
sir.
and the I spent a little bit of time with your app, the Heartfulness app. So that's an example of technology spreading, wonderful
Yes.
messages.
You can meditate. I mean, you can use that app, Heartfulness meditation, and uh, like 2 o'clock in the morning, you can't sleep and say, "Oh, I want to sleep. Or I want to meditate." The only two things when you wake up at 2 in the morning. So I would say, okay, since I cannot fall asleep, let me meditate. And I don't know how to meditate on my own. So use this app. They'll walk you through it and help you meditate. And afterward, you'll fall asleep like a baby.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So, any suggestions or to people watching this, what they can do, even a short process for centering? Um, what people we try to have people have at least some takeaways in these presentations. What the average person, either as a parent or themselves, and work life, tech life, how can they find that centeredness? What can people do at home?
Well, download this app or try to find the trainer in your neighborhood. We have almost 16,000 trainers worldwide. Right. And you don't have to go to some special place. You can meditate at home in the privacy of your own bedroom. This app is a good beginning. Afterward, as I say, personal touch is very important. You know, there are trainers worldwide, so you can try and meet some individuals who are in your community, meditate together, and uh, reinforce each other's belief system. Experiences can be reinforced. Read these books that we publish now and then. We have blogs and we have podcasts, we have Instagram, all modern stuff that we have. Just have to register. Uh, and all this still is zero cost. We don't charge anything. My master, my guide used to say spiritual things should be distributed for human welfare. If you're going to charge it, then it's no longer spiritual. It becomes a business. And spirituality can never become a business. So I take it to my heart and guide everyone, whoever is interested in meditation, with transmission. Transmission is the unique thing of this meditation. There are meditations and meditations. And we have done a lot of comparative studies of so many meditations. I would say this meditation on the heart, with the help of the trainer who transmits, We experience that transmission, and it is this transmission that helps us to center us in a very rapid way. Within few minutes, you will be centered. You will feel peace. You will feel immediate calmness. And you will notice just within 20 minutes how your consciousness has shifted. Just 20 minutes, I'm telling you. It's a matter of experiencing the whole practice. And you don't have to bow in front of anyone. You don't have to give any money. You know, you're not a slave to anyone. You are the master of yourself. And that's what my master, my guide used to say, that let's not create disciples or the students. Let's create masters. They can be the master of their own life, because once you can learn how to listen to the heart, you're the master of your heart. Listening to your heart, your conscience, and in a very courageous way. Because Steve, biggest problem we have, I don't find even one single person who would not know when he is about to do wrong things. Everyone knows. What we lack is the courage to do what is right. I say with a lot of confidence that there is no one in the world who doesn't know before acting that he is doing wrong. Even a little child, I learn a lot of things from my grandchildren. Even 4 months old grandchild, when drops the milk bottle, the child understands something has gone wrong. How would adult not know it? We don't want to know it. That's why we don't know it. Otherwise, truth is glaring on your face.
And to be in touch with that truth is being centered and having
Being center.
a
Go
heart,
within. Go within.
go within, so that and a heartfulness approach, a heart-centered approach.
Heart-centered approach, yes. To me, heart is the deepest part of the brain or the mind. And mind is the most superficial part of the heart. Isn't it? Because whenever the idea occurs from the heart, which is so deeply moving, the mind also will sink or go deep at that moment, and you feel so much of peace. While the superficial thoughts, they don't appeal you, they don't touch your heart.
Goes right through to the core, right
It's
to,
just it hits your core. Yeah.
and it's disarming. It's disarming because sometimes you don't expect it, but when something rings true in the moment, it's just it's like
Yeah,
all-knowing, immediate. Your whole body gets it. All
I
right.
think
What's
that's
that?
all.
I
That's
know.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so I just want to say that I feel relaxed and healed from spending this time with you and enlightened as well. So I just want to, you know, give you a warm thank you and welcome for spending the time with our summit and our listeners and watchers. And I look forward to continuing the conversation sometime soon.
Yes. Yes, we can have a continuous series of it. I'll send you that book, Wisdom Bridge. You can send your address to Caroline and have it shipped to your address.
That sounds good.
And yeah,
This,
thank you, Steve.
this was great. So I'm going to stop recording.
Okay.